Namaste, angels. This is the weekly general reading for the period of tomorrow, Sunday, July 8th through Saturday, July 14th. Today is Saturday, 7/7. So I said that, today you may feel something, but I felt something special about a 7/7, and I saw a vision about a 7/7, but it wasn't this one. It was next week, 7/16. So that's still on the calendar. And I've learned that, realized, however you want to put it, that in addition to what I had already gone over with you guys about Uranus semi-sextile Chiron, 2 degrees 22, 222, twice over, 222 to the second power. It's also the feast day of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, Mother and Queen of Chile. So that adds some spiritual energy to what was already going to be some very heightened celestial energy, at least according to my vision. So that's next week, like right outside of this reading. This reading goes through the 14th, and this what I'm talking about occurs on the 16th. So I don't know if we'll see any lead into that energy, because Chiron is already retrograde, right? So we could be feeling that retrograde in Aries. All right. Also, let's get to this week. So this week, on the Christian calendar, we have on Monday the 9th, Our Lady of Itati. And just from Wikipedia, I will quickly tell you what that is. It's also known as the Virgin of Itati, and it's a Roman Catholic title of the Virgin Mary, whose principal shrine is in the city of Itati in Argentina. The feast day is celebrated on July 9th, and there's an anniversary celebration on July 16th. So now there's twice over celebrations of Mary on the 16th too. I just went over Our Lady of Mount Carmel, which is a completely separate feast day, Mother and Queen of Chile, and this is in Argentina. All right, so that's on the Christian calendar. I don't want to spend too much time on the Jewish calendar. We also have something coming up. The 13th, Friday the 13th, which has other things going on depending upon what part of the world you're in. It may be the day of the new moon for you. For others of us, the new moon is going to occur on Thursday the 12th. But Friday the 13th, in addition to possibly the new moon, the Hebrew month of Av starts. It is the year 5778. And the Hebrew month of Av. And the Hebrew month of Av, some of you may remember, I don't know if you do or not, but it has a very special day contained in it. I went over it last year. It is the day that from the time of King Solomon has been set aside to connect with one's soulmate, perhaps meet one's soulmate. And so we'll go over that when the appropriate time comes. But in the meantime, I'll tell you about the month of Av in general from www.chabad.org, chabad.org. The Jewish month of Av. The name of the 11th month of the Jewish calendar, Av, literally means father. It is customary to add the name Menachem, which means comforter or consoler. So Menachem Av would be like a greeting. My son's name is Hebrew, and it starts with father, In this month, both temples were destroyed, and many of the tragedies occurred. Yet our Father in heaven is there to comfort and console us. Av includes a low point on the Jewish calendar, the 9th of Av, the day of the sin of the spies and the destruction of both the first and second temples in Jerusalem. But it also incorporates a high point, the 15th of Av. Oh, this is what I was just talking about. A day designated for finding one's predestined soulmate, and one of the happiest days on the Jewish calendar. Now, why I think this is so special, why I mentioned it before on the heels of what I was talking about with the celestial system, is I think that it's tied into my visions too, and connected to why I've been made to do the impromptu readings, why I've been made to, guide those who so will to get readings, to get healing, whether from me or, whatever means they feel comfortable to get ready for this day. Like this falls into the period of the shift thing that I was shown. So that's one of the happiest days of the Jewish calendar and like Jewish life. That's the month of Av. I'm going to go to my notes on the celestial system. And July 9th at 10:32, Venus enters Virgo. So we'll read about that. And July 10th at 1:02 p.m., Jupiter goes direct. We'll read about that. Also, on July 12th at 10:48 p.m. is the new moon partial solar eclipse, 20 degrees, Cancer 41. And for those of you for whom it's on the 13th, I had a conversation with one of my viewers who commented the video that I did where I mentioned the page 33 and then later 33 came up again in the reading. She pointed out that there were several threes in addition to the 12, July 12th, which equals 3, several threes connected to that new moon and partial solar eclipse as well. So I'll try to remember what that was because right now it's escaping me. All right, I'm going to go to Venus in Virgo. Let's find out what that's about from www.tarot.com. Venus in Virgo, devoted, perfectionist, service-oriented. Oh, so I got to stop for a second. Remember when I did the reading? It was the divine beings in contact, or twin flames in contact. Pick a card, and it that first column, it got really drawn out, and there was a Virgo involved, a page of Earth. Or of Pentacles, and I connect that with the energy of Virgo, and I said, this is like a perfectionist. Together with the other cards, the way that I read it, and I went on to say my son is a Virgo, and he has this perfectionist thing, too. And so now maybe that was trying to get me at the time to, remember, and mention to you then that Venus was going to be in Virgo, and it is about being a perfectionist. But I didn't catch it. If that's what they were trying to tell me, I didn't catch it. Anyway, the Venus in Virgo goes from July 9th through August 6th. So it's right before that August 11th date that I was shown, that 8/11. All right. Love takes a sensible turn when Venus moves into the earthy sign of Virgo, because Venus represents our relationships, and Virgo is the analytical sign that focuses on life's more practical matters. This transit gives us the opportunity to work harder on our partnerships. This is the time of getting down to the nitty-gritty so that we can figure out what is working in our relationships and what isn't. Okay, I have to repeat again how important it is right now. I hope you can see it for yourself, like all the things that are going on that are culminating during this period before 8/11, and appreciate the fact that the universe gave us advanced insight and knowledge, and told us what to look for. So we have this. We're going to have what we've already talked about in the other videos. We're going to have Soulmate Day, is what I'm going to call it for now. All of these things at the same time. Love takes a sensible turn when Venus moves into the earthy sign of Virgo on September 19th, 2017. Okay, this must be an old thing. So I'll skip by that. When Venus is in Virgo, let's go to that. We're being urged to become more reserved and discriminating when it comes to matters of the heart. You may begin to feel that if you can't have the perfect love, you'd rather not have love at all. For those that are coupled, Venus in Virgo is a cosmic opportunity to take a step back and to determine if we're getting what we deserve out of our relationships or not. If we're single, this is the time when we'll see the red flags that we might normally miss with any love interests. In fact, this transit may have us more in love with work and service than love itself. The downside to this time of going over our relationships with a fine-tooth comb is that we may end up nitpicking our partners more than usual because we find it difficult to let little things go. It's possible to keep excess criticism under control by having constructive dialogue rather than just pointing out each and every fault we see. This is a great time to make necessary adjustments in our relationships so that we can move forward more positively. In fact, your relationship may end up being better off because of Venus in Virgo. All of this relationship analysis doesn't sound very sexy, but despite how it may seem, Venus in Virgo can be passionate. That's because Virgo is an earth sign and it's all about appreciating food, art, nature, people. In fact, we appreciate the best of those things because Venus is in Virgo, and that includes what goes on between the sheets. However, we'll be a little bit more conservative when Venus is in Virgo, so don't expect any quick flings during that transit. And if you can read further, again, from www.tarot.com, if your individual Venus is in Virgo, you may wish to. That was July 9th. These things are like back to back to back. July 10th, again at 1:02 p.m., Jupiter goes direct. So it's been retrograde for 4 months. When Jupiter goes direct, this is going to be from Elite Daily, www.elitedaily.com. Are you still afraid of the dark? Jupiter direct is the beginning of your best life. Think about it. How many times have you purposely stopped yourself from doing something all because of fear? How many nights did you fall asleep wondering why you felt bothered, angry, or hurt, and yet still had no explanation as to why these emotions were where these emotions were coming from? Well, rest assured, those days are over. You made it. You shook hands with your demons. You confronted your shadow self. Embracing both the light and the dark is a form of self-mastery, and Jupiter in Scorpio did just that. Now it's your turn to rise again, just like a phoenix. Some say you should try and live your life with no regrets. Now, I think that's probably easier said than done, but you do have more control than you believe over your life path. Sure, you can't decide when you'll run into your soulmate, and the universe seems to sort of have a plan when it comes to bigger things, but when you're faced with possibilities or just a fork in the road, it's basically all up to you. The chances you only get in your 20s won't last for a lifetime, so be sure to take them right now if you can. At this point, what are you waiting for? You have to be getting tired of coming up with excuses as to why you can't travel the world or move to a new city and pursue a dream job. Sure, some of those things can be overwhelming, but once they become real, it's like we grow up and we become adults or something. Weird, huh? But sometimes jumping into life's adventures and not knowing exactly where they will end up is exactly what the stars had in mind. You have all the power in you to live your best life, especially in your 20s. You're full of energy and ambition, and you're able to see that there's a lot more to living than settling for the real world. These 7 chances you'll only get right now. So please take them while you can. To live with your best friends, to drop everything and travel. And they go into detail about each of these. To live abroad for a while, to put yourself first, to forgive yourself, to ditch toxic people, to follow your heart. And I'm not really sure how that connected to Jupiter, Scorpio. Oh, did I read something that I wasn't supposed to? I sure did. The page changed after I talked about the rising phoenix. So I guess some of you were meant to hear that message. Those of you who are 20 or in your 20s that are listening. Anyway, Jupiter in Scorpio has been one of the most incredible yet terrifying transits I've ever experienced. The planet of expansion stationed retrograde this March in what is known as the most intense sign of the zodiac. Now for the $1 million question. When does Jupiter retrograde end? Lucky for us, Jupiter will turn direct on July 10th at exactly 1:02 p.m. Eastern Time. We're almost there, stargazers, but before I tell you what Jupiter direct has in store for us, here's a quick overview of this unforgettable transit. In astrology, Jupiter is the planet of faith, luck, healing, and expansion. This planet is outspoken and truth-seeking. Its energy is similar to a magnifying glass, exposing and amplifying everything it touches. Its philosophical influence encourages us to expand our mind and see the bigger picture, which in turn can help to shape our society. This is where it gets even more interesting. Every 12 to 13 months, Jupiter enters a new zodiac sign, sprinkling abundance and truth. Its over-the-top generosity makes it easier to grow through that specific zodiac sign's energy and purpose. For instance, back in September 2016, Jupiter was making his annual visit in fair-minded Libra, shedding light where justice wasn't being served, from human rights protests to supporting LGBTQIA plus communities. And Jupiter in Libra encouraged compromise and equality. And we all know that men are from Mars and women are from Venus, right? It just so happens that the Women's March was held during Jupiter in Libra, and Libra also happens to be ruled by planet Venus. Is it still just a bunch of hocus pocus? Fast forward to October 10th, 2017, when Jupiter left justice-seeking Libra and took a dive into Scorpio's deep, murky waters. That same day, actresses like Angelina Jolie, Gwyneth Paltrow, and more accused Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein of sexual assault and harassment, ultimately sparking the Me Too movement. This was obviously the culmination of many women and journalists working together to gain overdue justice for women who have been harmed. But as an astrologist, for me, it's interesting to look at what was going on with the planets during those times as well. Hello, Jupiter in Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, the god of the underworld. This zodiac sign represents all that is hidden and below the surface. Its energy is secretive, power-hungry, and sexually obsessed. The overall theme of Jupiter in Scorpio is mystery and soul healing. This transit is teaching us how to find light within the dark, while bringing us closer to our soul karma and ancestors in the spirit world. Scorpio is the detective of the zodiac. With Jupiter involved, our deepest secrets are slowly but surely coming into light. The last time Jupiter was in Scorpio was from October 2005 to November 2006. Do you remember your life 12 years ago? How far have you come since then? Jupiter retrograde. Jupiter stationed retrograde in Scorpio on March 8th, and it will turn direct on July 10th. This retrograde period brought light to all that needed to be healed and transformed within us. This was a major cosmic cleanse, and for many of us, the beginning of a brand new journey. Jupiter retrograde in Scorpio pushed us to confront our fears, darkness, and inner demons. Our shadows have slowly been revealing themselves to us, which in turn brought a deep catharsis. Jupiter goes direct. Are you still afraid of the dark? Jupiter direct is becoming the beginning of your best life. Oh, this is what I read in the beginning. The beginning of your best life. Think about it. How many times have you purposely stopped yourself from doing something all because of fear? How many nights did you fall asleep wondering why you felt bothered, angry, hurt, and yet had no explanation as to why these emotions are from where they were coming from? Well, rest assured, those days are over. You made it. You shook hands with your demons. You confronted your shadow self. Embracing both the light and the dark is a form of self-mastery, and Jupiter in Scorpio did just that. Now it's your turn to rise again, just like a phoenix. And lastly, July 12th, the July new moon 2018 in Cancer will transform you and inspire you to step into your power. July is a major turning point in 2018 as it marks the beginning of a powerful eclipse season. The first eclipse of the summer and July new moon 2018 will be a partial solar eclipse in the sign of domestic Cancer. Eclipses are powerful lunations that bring life-altering circumstances, which is why most people tend to become hesitant whenever one is approaching. They are one of nature's greatest spectacles, and according to some, a sign from God. This month's eclipse on July 12th is the first of 3 this summer, as the following 2 will take place on July 27th and August 11th. These life-changing lunations will shake up Cancer Capricorn axis, or the Cancer Capricorn axis, bringing surprise, new beginnings, and transformations between now and 2020. And those of you who've been with me since the very beginning know that I made all kinds of predictions about 2020, including like asteroids crashing together and all kinds of stuff I saw back then when I was seeing like the revelations and whatnot. Anyway, a solar eclipse occurs when the moon is between the earth and the sun, which is also referred to by astrologers as a sun-moon conjunction. At this very moment, the moon blocks the sunlight, which symbolizes a state of darkness for all mankind. Now, as human beings, we usually tend to work with what we have. And by that I mean our instincts aren't to look beyond the horizon. On the contrary, we are creatures of habit, and we work with what we are and what we're given. This is exactly where the life-changing eclipse energy stems from. It's that moment when the moon blocks the sun that forces us to explore unfamiliar territories and to consider new options. Solar eclipses represent new beginnings, and despite the fear that comes with change, the universe knows what's best for you. New moon and partial solar eclipse in Cancer. Where do you have Cancer in your natal chart? Capricorn is directly across from Cancer in the zodiac wheel, as they are complete opposites of each other in every sense of the word. Now keep in mind, everyone's chart is completely different, so this solar eclipse will spark different circumstances. However, the theme of Cancer Capricorn remains the same: mother versus father, emotions versus reality, comfort versus responsibility, etc. Solar eclipse opposite Pluto, transformation and evolution. As I previously mentioned, despite our fear of change, this eclipse has our best interests. So if you've been reluctant to change or are hesitant to make a move, this energy may or may not get the job done for you. With the solar eclipse in Cancer opposite Pluto in Capricorn, we are transforming because of Pluto, both physically through the sun and emotionally through the moon. The how factor depends on where Cancer and Capricorn fall in your natal chart. Something else that's interesting is Pluto is retrograde as we speak. We're being forced to look within ourselves and to confront our fears. Where is your power being taken away from you? This beautiful energy, especially for those who have been victims of addiction, bullies, narcissists, and manipulators. Pluto retrograde rushes us to stand up for ourselves, not to mention to overcome obsessive behaviors. In that same column as the other in that same column, yes, but it was the other reading. It was the one for the divine unions in separation, or twin flames in separation. That same column I talked about speaking up for yourself, and I said you're going to do it like you never have before. So this could be connected to that. So Pluto helps us. Pluto retrograde rather pushes us to stand up for ourselves, not to mention to overcome obsessive behaviors. So like codependency and stuff. Grand Earth trine Uranus, Venus, and Saturn. Luckily for us, there will be a grand Earth trine in the sky between Uranus and Taurus, Venus and Virgo, and Saturn and Capricorn. In astrology, the element Earth represents stability, practicality, and materialization. With these three harmonious energies in the sky, this evolution process could bring both security and long-term results. For example, Venus trine Uranus could spark a surprise love interest and inspire exciting new ways to bring pleasure into your day and your day-to-day life. Speaking of love, Venus trine Saturn inspires commitment and long-lasting relationships. This energy makes us more serious about the things that we love as well. Last, but certainly not least, Saturn trine Uranus brings solid change. This is great energy for new projects and interests overall. Uranus brings the change and Saturn solidifies it. And that's what's going on this week from the perspective of the sky. Somebody has been talking to somebody that they shouldn't, like online, maybe what do you call it? like a FaceTime sort of thing. I saw this as soon as I dropped these dice, because I'm beginning with no, buy shoes, as in like walking shoes, and dirty movie. Like somebody's connecting with somebody they shouldn't be. I don't know who that's for. For the rest of us, spend money. Forget it. And sex for the second week in a row. Speaking of Jupiter and it going direct, I'm beginning with balance or temperance, major arcana card 14 in the tarot, which represents the sign of Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. The need for balance and moderation, cooperation and compromise. Wait for perfect timing. That means, other words, divine timing. Opening to the Seven of Fire. Defend your beliefs and decisions. Stand your ground, but choose your battles wisely. I think this Seven of Fire was actually the overall energy in that same spread with the divine unions and separation. If you haven't seen it and it applies to you, you might want to check it out. If it doesn't apply to you and you're looking for one that does, check out the one about divine unions in contact, divine beings in contact. Or, you know, twin flames in contact. Seven of Fire. And opening to the Sun, which also represents the sign of Sagittarius, again, ruled by Jupiter in the tarot. Major Arcana card 19. Happy outcome. Brilliant new ideas that lead to success if you have confidence in yourself. Seven of Fire. And release. We just did all that talking about Pluto and Scorpio. Jupiter is retrograde in Scorpio. Again, it's going direct this week. The end of a phase or situation. So we talk about an end of a phase. It's been retrograde since March, right? So here we are, July, and it's finally coming to an end. It's all about spiritual transformation, and then it's time to move on. Release is major arcana card Death in the traditional tarot and does represent the sign of Scorpio. Seven of Fire, and lastly, the Dreamer, which in this deck for me represents the planet Mercury, ruler of Virgo, about which we've been talking quite a bit just now, as well as Gemini, of course. The Dreamer is the Fool in the traditional tarot. Major Arcana card 0, a leap of faith. Follow your dreams. That leads to unexpected opportunities. Maybe this is for the 20-something-year-olds that are supposed to take their shot at their best life. Seven of Fire. Cut. And the Seven of Water. A complex decision. The need to do research. Stop procrastinating. The Seven of Water, while not a court card, tends to represent the planet Neptune for me. Don't ask. It just does. And Pisces, which it rules. Because it's that very dreamy energy, like can be foggy, you can be confused, sort of having trouble separating reality from fantasy world. Also spending too much time in fantasy world, like daydreaming and stuff, and not actually picking something to follow through and taking action. So you may want to do that. A complex decision, the need to do research, stop procrastinating. And guess what? It's the Seven of Earth. Seeds well planted, a temporary pause in action, unnecessary worries. So we have the Seven of Fire, the Seven of Water, now the Seven of Earth. I think this may be connected to that 716 energy, which is, again, a 7-7, the next 7-7, where the day actually equals 7 also. There was 3 sevens associated with it. It was like 777, 222. The numerology for that day. So that may be what was just illustrated here with those 3 sevens having shown up. Sevens, of course, being connected to spirituality, divinity, the fact that you are on path, you're on course, and you should stay there. They're connected to fortune. 7 means God, not just in numerology, but in angel numbers and supreme math. You know, I speak about 5 numeric languages. It means God, like in all of them. It's a good number. I'll just put it that way. And we just saw 3 equals 21 equals 3. 3 is creation, the creator, creativity, abundance. That's the energy for this week, I guess. The masculine, Crowned by the 8 of Earth, skilled work is rewarded. Learning all there is to know about a topic and maybe going back to school. This is about reaping what you've sown. You put the work in when you planted the seeds with the 7 of Earth, and now you are reaping them. 7 of Earth, again, our overall energy here. Surrounding the masculine, the King of Water, trustworthy, compassionate, respected, and cultured. Open your heart and mind to those around you. Trustworthy and heartfelt advice and charity work. Now, to me, charity work is love. So I could cross this out and just put love here. Anytime anybody gives or receives like of themselves without agenda, that's love. And that's what charity work is. The King of Water is a Scorpio, perhaps. Again, where Jupiter is retrograde currently and will leave this week. Maybe a Cancer, where the moon will be, or is, and, by which is ruled by the moon too. Or Pisces also. We just saw that Pisces energy with the 7 of Cups here also. Masculine subconscious. The Knight of Earth, loyal, dedicated, honorable, and kind. Time to buckle down and get things done. Honor your commitments. You have a guardian angel. Knight of Earth, maybe that Virgo we've been talking about. Could also be a Capricorn. We talked about that too. Capricorn opposite Cancer. That axis. Can be Taurus as well. Did a lot of talking about Venus. Venus rules Taurus. The Knight of Earth is a go-getter, but slow. Slow, methodical. Right? Steady. Slow and steady wins the race is like his mantra. He is the tortoise up against the hare. He makes a plan. He always follows it through, always reaches his goal, but it takes some time. The feminine is crowned by the Queen of Water, tender-hearted, empathetic, patient, and loving. Relationships develop to a new level. Trust your intuition. Care for yourself and others. The Queen of Water, like the King, is a Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Can also be connected to the energy of the planet Jupiter himself. Also, speaking of relationships, the fact that we have the 2 of them at the table automatically makes this spread, at least for someone who's going to be tuning in, about a relationship issue. We have a couple at the table. They're not necessarily both water signs, but that's, of course, possible. They could be direct water signs, too. Feminine, surrounded by the Ace of Air, brilliant new ideas and inspirations. Seeing the truth of a situation and a challenging beginning. The Ace of Air is, it's a new beginning, which is awesome. But it's a new beginning sometimes that it was difficult getting to, and there may still be some more bumps in the road. So you don't want to get down. Just know that you're on this new beginning. I always try to leave this challenging beginning part out, because to me, what's important is that it's a new beginning. The Ace of Air is also about victory, and that's what getting past the bumps in the road is about too, right? You're triumphant. So let's look at it that way. Feminine subconscious. Speaking of all that, Neptune in Pisces, it is Major Arcana card 12. I talked about that in the beginning of the reading too, right? What was I just saying about 12 equals 3 equals a creation? You guys can rewind if you don't. I moved on already in my head. Awakening is the hangman in the traditional tarot. So it's about like an air of suspension, a pause. It's like time stops and you get a moment to self-assess and be honest with yourself about what you want and whatnot, before the clock starts again. And so that when it does, you're ready. Look at things from a different perspective. You're at a temporary standstill. It's important to be yourself. Again, Major Arcana card 12, Awakening, or the Hangman, represents the planet Neptune for me in the sign of Pisces, which it rules. Crowning. Quite appropriately so, with this Cancer, new moon falling into this week. I think it's again, doubly special because Cancer, the sign of Cancer, is also ruled by the moon. So when it's a Cancer moon, I think it's pretty keen. And here's another 7. Crowned by another 7 too. So you guys counting? That's 4 now. 7 times 4 is 1. A new beginning, right? Equals 28 equals 1. New beginning. An important achievement, self-discipline and willpower, public recognition. Again, the Chariot represents the sign of Cancer and is about travel. It's about moving. It's about movement. It is about modes of transportation, like means of travel, planes, trains, automobiles. It's about getting in the driver's seat, metaphorically, of your own life and taking it by, the reins, and you're in charge. It definitely can be about raise and elevation too. And again, like I said, public recognition, like you're being appreciated somehow. At the root, the Queen of Fire, confident, warm, intelligent, and graceful. Stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself. Assert your independence and creativity. The Queen of Fire is where Venus will be leaving as she enters Virgo. She's currently in Leo. She's going to Virgo. That could be why these are here side by side. We got a number of characters here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Queen of Fire, Knight of Earth, King of Water, and Queen of Water. Queen of Fire is confident, warm, intelligent, and graceful. She's also a Leo, as I was just saying. Sagittarius, again, like connected to Jupiter. Or Aries, ruled by Mars, along with Scorpio, which she's here crossing. If it's not one of those direct water signs, anybody likened to these traits or attributes, of course. At the heart of the matter. Ooh. The 5 of Earth, fears surrounding money, the wisdom to accept help from others, and uncertain self-employment. Maybe this is on our way to the 10th. So just between the 8th and the 10th, we're still afraid. We're still facing the darkness of Jupiter and Scorpio. With all this awesomeness surrounding in the surrounding perimeter, I don't know why there would be 5 energy here at the heart of the matter. The 5 of Earth is about lack, whether it's financial or material, or it's love. It's fear of lack. Fear of lack. And there really is no need here. Here we have the 2 8s. So again, 7 7, like today. Today is 7 7 11. Right, so that's 16. It's 2 8s. 7 7 1 1. It's 2 8s, and then that equals 16 equals another 7 yet again. But here's the 2 8s right here. 8 of Earth and the 5 and the 3 together is another 8. I'm going to further clarify these with the Angel Tarot. I'm sorry, the Animal Tarot. This is the Angel Tarot. Beginning with the Princess of Summer, which also represents the sign of Pisces for me. Sensitive, kind, open-hearted, and inexperienced is the Princess of Summer. You can expect to kindle a new romantic relationship or a close platonic friendship. You may suddenly receive an emotional message from someone or be invited to a social event. And it's another Queen of Spring already, right? We have one here at the root. Here's yet another. Talented, brilliant, independent, charming. Don't underestimate your ability to manifest your dreams. You have several priorities vying for your attention, but you can handle them all at once. Princess of Summer. And it's another 7 of Summer, 7 of Cups. It's time to stop procrastinating and to make a decision so that you can move forward with a priority. If you need to do more research, then do so, but don't underestimate the situation. Listen to your heart. So you may have to make a choice, perhaps involving a Pisces or a direct water sign. And it's the 8 of Winter. It's so easy to convince yourself that you're trapped when you really aren't. Trust that God will lift you to new heights and give you a greater self-confidence if you affirm your freedom first. The 8 of Winter is connected to the energy, or similar to the energy of the Devil in the Tarot for me. Major Arcana card 15, the devil, which represents the sign of Capricorn. It's that, like, in the planet Saturn, it's that feeling of being restricted when you really are not. I'm going to cut. Six of Autumn. Your success and prosperity have allowed you to pay off debts, acquire wise loans, receive a grant or a scholarship in return for heaven's blessings. Be sure to share the wealth with others through donations of time, money, or to reputable reputable charities. Again, charity work is love, and unconditional love at that. And this card is about that for me, as it relates to relationships too. Being able to give and receive without agenda to one another. You got another character joining the party. It's the Prince of Winter, who is decisive, focused, driven, and impulsive. And this is another indication that somebody has a decision to make. The Prince of Winter or Knight of Swords definitely comes up when there's a decision to be made. Get ready for progress to speed up. This situation requires you to choose logic and intellect over emotion and to make your decisions quickly. That means you're going to be like faced with an opportunity and you need to make the most logical decision, as soon as possible to not miss out. Top, the Eight of Earth, Major Arcana card 5. So there's a 5 of Earth here. It's that funky one that I didn't much care for. This is also a 5 of Earth because Unity, or the High Priest, better known as the Hierophant, represents the sign of Taurus, again, which is ruled by Venus. Embrace this time of deep spiritual growth. You may feel called to act as a mentor, to find a new teacher, or to spend time with others who are also on a sacred path. That could be into what you're putting your work, or this could be connected to learning something new, whether it is in the form of education like schooling, a vocation, a job, or the school of life, right? School of hard knocks, and experience being the best teacher. All of those can be. Also, we might need walking shoes here. That might be why we were told to buy shoes by the dice, to get away from people with whom we no longer align. The Hierophant is about adjusting, the people, places, and things that surround you to make sure that they are of your vibration or a similar vibration, all right, similar frequency or higher, like from what you can learn. The Hierophant can also be about signing important documents, government agencies into which you may, come into contact, school, again, of course, university, marriage, commitment in general, which may be coming into play with what we just read about Venus, right? This is the suit of Earth. Venus rules Taurus. What we just read about commitment as it relates to Venus and Virgo. Atop the King of Water, the Princess of Autumn, or the Page of Earth, Page of Pentacles. Cheerful, reliable, intelligent, and mischievous. A wonderful opportunity related to your work or your education, such as a promotion or a scholarship, is coming your way. Seize this chance to learn something exciting or to start a more rewarding and uplifting career. Now, didn't I say when I talked about the Chariot, and I don't always say this, some of you guys watch me all the time, so you know how I talk. I don't always mention that the Chariot can be about raise and elevation and promotion. But I did say it here. And now it's crossing the Princess of Autumn and sitting here. So it definitely can have to do with somebody like training for a new position or something. Learning a new skill. Or something new in life, like trying life in a new and exciting way, that's going to, that they're going to fall in love with, that brings them joy. It's going to bring them really great joy, like emotional fulfillment is what I'm trying to get at. Also, separate and apart from that, possibly, or they could be intermingled. May involve, of course, not only an earth sign, but maybe most specifically a Virgo and a direct water sign, possibly, quite possibly. Maybe a Taurus specifically too. Atop the Knight of Earth is the Nine of Summer. Now's the time when your dreams come true. Don't worry about how this will happen. Just give gratitude to God for all that you have and all that's still yet to come. The Nine of Summer is all about dreams coming true, wishes being granted, prayers being answered. And it can be about financial abundance or material abundance, or also love coming your way. And it may be about a specific person, perhaps a direct earth sign, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, coming your way slowly. Or you're considering moving toward it slowly. You're being given an opportunity to, but you're like, you got to plan it out first. Atop the Queen of Water, the Four of Autumn. Be cautious about living a life of extremes or seeing things in black and white terms. Consider, for example, whether you're spending too much versus hoarding your wealth. Well, the dice just said spend money. So if you're hoarding your wealth, loosen up the purse strings this week. Also, this card can be about giving too much emotionally versus building up walls that keep people up. And that explains, I guess, why some of us were nervous here and fearful even of lack or the fact that we're doing this is as a result of being fearful. So we're holding on to ourselves. We don't want to give. We don't want to open up. We don't want to share. We don't want to become vulnerable because, we're afraid. But that's a life of extremes. So you're guided to, again, loosen up, whether it's the purse strings or your arms around yourself, knock down the wall in front of yourself or surrounding yourself, and let people in that you love or love you. Atop the Ace of Air, the Three of Spring. Stop to take time to review and make long-term plans, capitalizing on your past. Yourself on the back for all of your accomplishments. But you may also need patience for the next phase to play out. The Three of Spring is about, again, abundance, creativity, can be connected to like the Creator and Trinity and all that kind of stuff. Also, potentially party of three situation. And maybe that's what the difficult beginning is about. There's been extra energy. So there's been some conflict, some face-offs, but we're going to start over nonetheless. Atop this other three, the Hangman is the Five of Spring. I just said, it felt like there had been some conflict. Okay, well, here's more proof of that. And it gives us another 8 as well. This 3 plus the 5. Occasionally, you may experience clashes with others. If you decide the matter is worth your energy, then do what you can to minimize the conflict without sacrificing your goals or beliefs. So basically, take a look at the situation, evaluate it while you're in this hangman position and have an opportunity, the air of suspension, and decide, like, do I have to address this? Am I playing myself if I do, or do I need to shut this person down or this situation down? That it's going to be up to you. And that's what the feminine is pondering, some sort of situation of that nature here. Possibly involving a Pisces. Atop the Chariot, crossing the Ace of Winter, it's another Ace of Winter. Implementation of your brilliant new idea. Make it off to a rocky start, but keep going. The challenges will help you to refine your plan and to reshape your goals into something even better. Something even better with which you will be successful. Now we have 2 cards of victory. It's like victory atop victory with these 2 cards sitting here together. Atop the Queen of Fire, it's the 9 of Spring. You've worked hard And what you've created, crossing the 3, which represents creation, what you've created is impressive and worthy of protecting. Annoying challenges may pop up, but don't worry. You'll get through them just as you have in the past. So what are the annoying challenges? The bumps in the road from the Ace of Air. So whatever this Ace of Air represents for you in your life, conflict may be surrounding it. But it's what you've created. And so you've earned it. You've earned whatever this thing is. It's your baby, as they say. And, decide accordingly with that in mind. But the 5 of Spring says you don't have to fight every battle. Where this is conflict, given the placement in the feminine subconscious, for some of us, it's inner conflict, inner turmoil. We're fighting with ourselves. So we can, when we change perspectives and come to, positive resolution with ourselves. For others, it is close friends and or family with whom we're having some difficulty. One of them is the 3rd. At the heart of the matter, atop the 5 of Earth, the High Priestess. Very nice. This is a time to pause and reflect, not to take action. Trust in your spiritual gifts, as nothing is hidden from your divine intuition. And the spiritual gifts will help you to discern what's true, what's real, and to get through that foggy energy of the moon, of Pisces, of Neptune. That can be confusing, that can be dreamy. It help you to see things for what they are, and then make a wise choice like the owl. The High Priestess is a Gemini, or perhaps a water sign. And if she's a water sign, if it's an actual person in your life who this is representing, yet another character, I'm going to say she's most likely a Cancer. Because again, Cancer is ruled by the moon, but it's also connected to this owl energy. I do want to further clarify what the creation, to what the creation may be related, connected. What kind of creation? 2 of Autumn. You may have something to do with work for some of you. You got to choose. It might be your own business or something, or a project that you're on. You may be under stress because of multiple jobs or too many responsibilities for one person to manage. It's important to balance your work and your personal life and to bring a spirit of fun to all that you do. So this is like another indication of making a decision though, but like about what you're going to do about this thing. So this could be a job that you created, a project or something, entrepreneurship or something like that. And you're having to figure out how to balance your time. Like, you need time for work and time to be social. All work and no play makes Jill a dull girl. But you still got to give your attention to your projects, even if you feel tired, if you feel disconnected, if you've had trouble and you feel like knocked down, if you've gotten into conflicts or fights with other people and you feel knocked down. Again, the 9 of Spring as well as the Queen of Spring or Fire say that you can keep going and tackle whatever this is. For the masculine, I'll see what his it looks like school. But let's see to else this may be connected. The Hierophant. They don't want to tell me anything this week. I can't help but crack up when this happens to me. It's not the first time. Where they keep giving me like energy, the same energy repeating over and over. Like that's all we're going to show you. The 3 of Autumn is about abundance earned, raise, promotion, just like I've been saying already. So there's no new information here. Your most satisfying and profitable career comes from following your passions, listening to your heart, and doing what brings you joy. pay attention to that part for sure. Your life purpose is best fulfilled by allowing your talents and true self to shine forth out into the world. So as it relates to the people and places and things that surround you, though, it can be about that. Not letting, remember, you're in the driver's seat of your own life. Okay? You're in charge here. You might have to take the sword and cut somebody off, or cut through their bullshit, or cut the cord that's connecting them, that makes them feel like they have the right to tell you what to do, or to change your mind about what you've decided for yourself and part of your life path and your life purpose. This card says you choose, as does the Chariot. All right, lastly, we'll take another look at this lack in the middle, and then I'll do the advice. I can't make this up. This is saying where you're afraid, there's no need to be. You're a powerful being. You're extremely intuitive. And you're wise. And you know how to play a good game of cards. You know when to hold them and when to fold them. That's what what the High Priestess is all about. She, is extremely observant. She takes in information, and if she needs to, she uses it. If she doesn't, she doesn't. So with all that in mind, they're saying there's nothing for you to be afraid of. Whatever this opportunity is for you, this Ace of Winter, this new beginning. Twice over, we've seen this energy of a new start with the Ace of Winter. Whatever it is, go for it. You are starting a new adventure. Run free and take a leap of faith. Again, the dreamer is the fool in the traditional tarot. From the angels of abundance to the masculine. Deservingness. You are a beloved child of God, like everyone else, and you deserve to receive the support that will allow you to focus upon your divine life purpose, even if you can't yet recognize your lovable qualities. Trust that God and the angels can see how amazing you truly are. And that's why you're being recognized. That's why you're being rewarded. That's why you're being elevated. That's why you're being promoted. I didn't mean to rhyme again. Feminine, for us, focus on your priorities. Where you put your focus is where you receive your outcome. Your priorities are calling to you. So this is where you got a whole bunch of stuff going on, but you created this and you're getting a new start. You made this. Focus on that. That's your priority. All right, this is priority number 1. Ace equals 1 or 11. Your priorities are calling you, and that may produce a feeling of anxiety. Unless you give them the time and attention that they and you deserve. Even a small amount of time devoted to your priorities will help you to feel better and more confident. From the Angel Tarot to the masculine. It's another Unity or Hierophant. He's got 2. Traditional viewpoints or methods, spiritual organizations. Seek out mentors and like-minded friends. Some of the masculine are going to be cutting themselves off from people, places, and things that no longer align with their vibration. And, it's going to be a change. 5 equals change, where it doesn't equal conflict, right? They're just going to get a change of scenery. It's time to move on, as the Death card said. We're transitioning into a new chapter in our lives because we've transformed. And so, like where there's death, there is a new beginning. And he just needs new energy around him and new things to learn. Like if we're not learning, there's no reason to be here. So he needs new stuff around him. This is like a graduation here, right? He's already earned reward and to be promoted, to be moved on to the next phase. That's what's happening with the masculine. Feminine, for us, it is yet another page of earth. This is the second one of these in the table too. I forgot what the other one is. Is it here? Yep, here it is. Masculine has it. Princess of Autumn, atop the King of Water. That's the page of earth. Good news about financial matters. So they're not going to get all the money and material stuff. We're getting some too. Wanting to do something more challenging and maybe a new area of study for us as well. The page of earth is a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Maybe someone youthful or younger than you, if it's an actual person. Could be your own energy too. And it's another bit of conflict. This is one for the masculine. The Five of Winter. Your current path isn't leading you toward the happiest possible outcome. So why not change it? Like I just said, the masculine is going to have to change his surroundings, his path, his environment. Why not change it? Always maintain integrity and compassion, but be alert to the hidden agendas of others. Why are they trying to make you do what they want to do? Date who they want you to date. Work where they want you to work. Go to the school they want you to go to. Study the field they want you to study, or work in that field. Why? Why can't they mind their business? Or why don't they want you to be happy? These are questions you're going to have to ask. Like, what's up with these people, if they're your friends or your family? The Five of Winter, unlike the Five of Spring for me, though, doesn't have to be somebody to whom you're particularly close. It can be. But I always get a feeling of family or close friends with this, and this can happen even with strangers. We could have run-ins and brush-ups with strangers during the week. So masculine, similar to what I told the feminine, you may just want to, even in those cases, somebody steps on your foot by accident, instead of getting into a big fight with them, you may just want to, remind them that they need to apologize, and then, keep walking, take your leave, without having it turn into a big thing. Situations like that. And lastly, for the feminine, it's a Princess of Spring. Energetic, outgoing, optimistic, and creative is the Princess of Spring. Creative opportunities that you feel passionate about are fluttering your way. Creative opportunities, new beginnings, new opportunities. Personal growth and broadened horizons will spark fresh and original ideas. And we may have Jupiter to thank for that. The Princess of Spring represents the sign of Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, but can also be a Leo, an Aries, maybe even a Scorpio. I hope you guys have enjoyed the weekly reading. I've made a mess here. I'm going to go clean it up, and then I'll get ready for the love reading. Namaste, angels.